What I want to do right is I'm just going to ask you the questions real quickly.
Sure.
Okay, so the first question, where did you start with editing and why? How did that work out?
Thanks, Sheri, so much for inviting me to be back on the show. Well, I started my YouTube adventure with editing starting with iMovie. It's free, it comes with the Mac, and at the time starting my channel, I really didn't want to invest any real money into it. So I started with iMovie, and I'm self-taught. Whenever I couldn't figure out how to do something, I would go on YouTube and just do a search, how to crop. And then I would watch the video how to do it, and then I would actually do it for my project. With some time, I got really good at iMovie.
My second question is, when did you decide to move up from iMovie? What made you decide that iMovie wasn't working for you anymore? And how far into your YouTube channel were you? How many subscribers did you have? You know, what did it look like?
My friend, who was also getting into YouTube at the time, was trying to get me to move over to Final Cut Pro. The big benefit to me for moving to Final Cut Pro was the unlimited layering, because I like to put cartoons over my wife, which is why I call her Cartoon Wife on my show. And I didn't want to be limited to just one cartoon. I wanted to put unlimited cartoons over her. And in addition, real-time rendering. That was a game changer, because with iMovie, it doesn't render to the very end, and it can take a lot of time to render and then export your file. Whereas with Final Cut, it's actually rendering as I go. So when I'm finally done editing and I click export, it's fast and my time is very valuable. And what I really want to share with your audience is that editing can seem daunting at first, but no one says you have to be a professional. I only know how to do 12 to 15 things in any given editing program. Like I said, I started with iMovie, I moved over to Final Cut, and now I'm learning Premiere. And I'll talk about that in a second.
So you got to that point where you loved Final Cut, you were using it, et cetera, et cetera. What happened?
I still love Final Cut. However, I'll tell you this story. So my job got wind of my editing skills, and they asked me to do some work for them with editing some videos, right? But they didn't want me to use Final Cut Pro on my personal Mac. They wanted me to learn Adobe Premiere. So they signed me up for this Udemy course, and it was a 7.5-hour course. And halfway through, I was like, I'm done. I can't listen to this guy anymore. I am done. And so I decided to do the same method I did to learn iMovie and Final Cut. I did the same method to learn Adobe Premiere, which was simply this. I created a project, and whenever I got stuck and I couldn't figure out how to do something, I did a little search on YouTube. How to crop. Cropping in Premiere is totally different than cropping in Final Cut Pro. To me, editing in Final Cut Pro versus Adobe Premiere is like this. It's like driving, okay? Final Cut is like having an automatic vehicle. You just hit the gas and the brake and that's it. Adobe Premiere is like driving manual stick, manual transmission, where, yeah, you have a lot more control of the car, but is it as enjoyable as an experience? No. Now, it's all personal preference. Some people only know how to edit in Adobe Premiere. That's all they know. So to them, they love it. Like some guys only have owned manual transmission cars. Oh, I save money on gas, and I can really get the car to slow down just using my transmission as opposed to the brake. And they can go on and on and on about how great it is to have a manual stick. But for me, personally, I don't want to be bothered. I just want to do the gas and the brake. So that's the analogy between Final Cut Pro and Premiere. I do not like Premiere, but again, that's just me. I much prefer Final Cut Pro. That's just me. So that's my story as to how I learned each of the apps. I just simply did searches, and I'm not a guru. I only know how to do about 12 to 15 things in any of these editing applications. So what I really want you guys to take away from this whole rant, you can edit. It's not brain surgery. Don't be stuck on you being a perfectionist. Your first videos are gonna suck, and it's been a progression. At this point, I have over 400 videos, 400. And if I gave a rat's ass what my broke brother-in-law thought or my neighbor, I would have 0 video, So you're just gonna have to put them out, and they will progress over time. Just last night we got some Chinese food, right? And I got my little fortune cookie right here. Let me read it to you, okay? It says, the goal should be growth, not perfection. See, I'm not making this up. Let me put it to the camera. The goal should be growth, not perfection. You can learn how to do it. It's a matter of sitting there, making your own project, and if you can't figure something out, look it up on YouTube. There's a gazillion videos on YouTube on how to edit. And when I couldn't figure out how to crop in Adobe Premiere, I watched like 3 or 4 videos till I found a guy I could relate to, and he didn't have a thick accent, and I could actually understand what he was trying to say. I'm sure all the videos said the same thing, but until I found that one guy, I was like deer in the headlights. And so, I played around with it for a little bit. You don't be afraid to break it, So that's my message to you regarding editing.
As always, it is a pleasure to talk to you, Sam. This is Sam Santiago from Arizona Living Channel, and it's all about Arizona news. So if you're interested in learning more about Arizona, check out Arizona Living Channel on YouTube with Sam Santiago, the host. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.
Editing can seem daunting at first, but no one says you have to be a professional. I only know how to do 12 to 15 things in any given editing program.